Hi everybody, it's Clara. How are you guys doing? So I thought we'd talk today about Crohn's disease. I didn't really hear about it until I was diagnosed with it, so I thought it would be kind of cool if we just talked about what it is. When I found out I had it, maybe answer some few questions for some people who may have just gotten diagnosed by Crohn's disease. So Crohn's disease is an autoimmune illness and affects you all the way from your mouth down to your anus. So everywhere, esophagus, stomach, intestines, colon, etc. So it is a lifelong illness. It doesn't go away, and you have to be on things such as immunosuppressants or even chemo pills. I know I have to take chemo pills. Anti-inflammatories. And not all anti-inflammatories work for Crohn's disease. Only specific kinds are for Crohn's. There's also steroids. Lots and lots of steroids. And steroids can be really okay taking them short term, but we have to take it long term when we have a flare up. So that can be kind of like a poison to your body. So they try to get you off of it as soon as possible. I had to be on the steroids for 4 months before they weaned me off of it when I had my flare up. So let's get into my story on how I found out that I had Crohn's disease. So I had some stomach pain, and it was kind of hard to eat. And every time I ate, a little bit after, when I would be like digesting, I would have discomfort and pain. So I would just stop eating, or I was eating less and less. And my husband actually noticed that I was a little bit sluggish and asked me what was going on. And I told him how I've been feeling. So I went to see the doctor. And I was actually misdiagnosed at first because they thought I had gastritis, which is inflammation of the inner lining of the intestines and stomach area. So they gave me medication for that. And I took it, and it did not help whatsoever. So one morning I woke up and it was such a bad pain. I was just laying there and I didn't even know I had a fever. So I went to the ER with my fever and found out I had a fever there. And they poked around, and at first they thought it was my appendix because the pain I had was right where it is. They pushed there and I squealed. That was, a little funny. The doctor jumped. I think he should have jumped though. I mean, everybody, you're in there with pain, so come on, you might squeal a little bit. So he poked around and he said, I think it's your appendix. And then we went to do a CT, and it turned out that a whole giant part of my abdomen was twice its size, so it's huge. The area that was hurting, that was my appendix, was actually a lymph node that is above the appendix that was inflamed. So that's why that spot hurt when he pushed on it. And he told me that he thought I had Crohn's disease. And that's the first time I had heard about Crohn's disease. Now, I went home with the intention of making a follow-up appointment with one of my facey doctors. And I was impatient and, of course, went online and looked up Crohn's disease and everything that the internet gives you about it. And it completely freaked me out because the first thing I saw was colostomy bags. So let me just say this. Most people who have Crohn's disease will eventually need surgery. That does not mean you'll need the surgery that ends you with colostomy bags. Also, colostomy bags can be temporary sometimes. So if you are stuck with one with Crohn's disease, cross your fingers, maybe it'll be temporary. But there are people with permanent, and there's all different kinds of Crohn's diseases. So don't scare yourself if you've just been diagnosed with Crohn's disease and think, oh my goodness, I must have the worst one and I'm going to have a colostomy bag, because most likely, hopefully, that's not the case. But as far as my journey, this was about a year ago that I found out. I was on steroids for 4 months after that, and he started me on the immune suppressants and then the chemo pills and the anti-inflammatories while I was on the steroids. And the goal was to take me off of the steroids once everything else starts working, to kind of replace the steroids, because what basically with Crohn's, you're trying to play keep away from the steroids in order to try to keep your body healthy so it does not damage your organs. So I've been on the chemo pills and all that for pretty much almost a year now. And they are awful. They're causing nausea all the time. I'm always nauseous. I'm always sick. A lot of stomach pain. I still get it. But I have a lot of damage from the Crohn's disease, so I naturally have a lot of pain. And I'm supposed to be getting surgery probably within the next year or so. What stinks, though, is that my hospital stay okay, let me back up a little because this won't make sense. It took my doctors a while to get me the referral to see the gastroenterologist, so I ended up back in the ER from the Crohn's disease before I had seen a doctor, one of my doctors for it. So it was my second time in the ER, and they ended up admitting me. And I had a biopsy surgery, colonoscopy while I was there. I was there for about 5 or 6 days. I had a really bad fever. We almost couldn't do the surgical procedures because my fever wouldn't go down. Luckily, we got it to go down just for a little bit, and we went in, and then it came up back up during surgery. But so I ended up getting a bill in the mail for about $40,000. Yeah, $40,000 because of the hospital stay. So, and because of the surgical procedures and all that. And it's been such a stressful thing on my husband and I. I actually started a GoFundMe account to help with that and the following procedures coming up soon, and actually some medications that I want to try because these chemo pills, I hate them. I mean, I hate them. They suck. And I want to feel better. And I've researched so many things that work better in other countries that doctors that aren't in America are using, and I would like to be able to buy them and try that and see if it works, and kind of raise more awareness for those type of medications for other people who have Crohn's that want the safer route and don't want to feel sick every day. I mean, it's taken away from my family and from me. So we started a GoFundMe account. I know I'll actually put the link below so you can go check it out and hopefully share and donate it. But yeah, we started a GoFundMe account for that. And now with Crohn's disease, I'm just at a point where every day is sluggish. I started taking antidepressants, which seem to kind of help because it's caused me a lot of depression. But I'm very sluggish. I like being in bed a lot, which isn't usually like me. I don't want to paint anymore. I'm usually a painter. There's so many things I don't do as much as I did before because there's always a stomach cramp or a run to the bathroom, or I'm so nauseous that I can't lift my head from the pillow. So it's taken a lot away. So our hopes are that we find a way or a medication that's not bothering me as much, I guess you would say. Trying some CBD oil to see if that helps also. I'll let you know in the next video how that's going. But we just got it, and I'm actually pretty excited about using it. I got it from a cancer patient who actually uses it for her nausea from her chemotherapy. Of course, her chemotherapy is way more targeted than mine and much more higher in milligrams and whatnot. But she specifically opened a store for CBD because she knows exactly which ones work. So I'm actually going to use the same one she used when she was nauseous. So if you're having those same issues, check out my next video in about a week or so. And I will be sure to update how I'm feeling, because I think you need a good 5 to 10 days with the CBD oil in order to know if that's the good one that works for you consistently. You need some consistency. But yeah, that's my Crohn's disease. As far as questions you guys may have about food, my doctor said you can eat whatever you want. That it doesn't affect the Crohn's disease, that if you're going to have a flare-up, you're going to have it anyways. That's regardless of what you eat. Now, if you eat something and it doesn't make you feel well, obviously don't eat it. Your stomach, your body doesn't like it. But other than that, you can eat whatever you want. I'm not quite sure if that's accurate. If you actually know otherwise, please comment so I can see what your doctor said. I don't believe that eating whatever you want is okay. I've done some research, but I can't quite figure it out. Because there's both sides. Some say you can eat whatever you want. Some say, no, you can't have dairy. You can't have cheese. You can't have nuts or seeds. So it's been really hard to figure out what I can and can't eat. I've tried no meat. I've tried with meat. There's no difference. But I'm not sure if I'm making damage by eating the meat. I mean, it's been kind of like going in circles. So that's one thing I would like to know. If you guys have any information on that, that would be great. Other than that, I will see you guys later.